Today we are going to take a look at a very common problem. We all use AI to help us write code now, but sometimes the AI gives us code that looks correct, but it has hidden bugs. This is what people called vibe coding. The code has the right vibe, but it is not stable. Today I will show you how to use Python type hinting and a library called Pydantic to catch these bugs automatically. Imagine you ask an AI to create a user for your test. It might give you a simple dictionary with a name and an age, but what if the age is a minus number or a string? A normal Python script might not stop this. It will continue to run fine and it will crash. It will just keep running, and then your playwright test will obviously fail later. We want our code to be strong. We want it to check the data immediately. Let's start with a simple example. Look at this code. We are using type hints. So you can see here the name is a string and age is an integer, but it still works. It doesn't throw any error. So Python does not stop the script even when we try to give a string to the age integer, right? So what to do here? This is very dangerous when you are doing automation. So this is where Pydantic comes into play. Pydantic is a library that enforces these rules. So if the data is wrong, Pydantic will stop the code and tell you exactly what is wrong. It is the best way to validate AI code. So you can install Pydantic using the uv add Pydantic, and I have already installed it. And so now let's update this script and fix it. So first you need to install the Pydantic as I mentioned here. So you can use the pip install Pydantic or uv, the latest modern uv, to install this Pydantic library, and then we create a model. So a model is just a class that defines what our data should look like. So here I have a updated script. So you can see here we are importing from Pydantic, we are importing the base model, the field, validation error, and what is happening here is when I try to run the program with a bad data. So now when I call this bad, I'm using a dictionary where the age is not a valid. So let's say this code is coming from an AI and we try to run this method, call this method with the bad data that is generated by AI. So let's see what happens. So you can immediately see that there is Python script stops and it catches this validation error because the Pydantic library is in action and it catches the bug, and the code did not crash with a weird error. It has a meaningful error now. So it says the input should be greater than 0, and it says what is the input you gave, which is -5, and this is an integer type, and we have put a condition here that greater than 0, the age should be greater than 0 or less than 120. So we are defining the valid values for the age. So when we try to supply with an invalid value that is generated by AI, as in this case, it is going to show you a clear error. So what is that error, instead of throwing an exception or any other weird error? So it obviously tells us that the age must be greater than 0. So this is how you make your test reliable. When you get data from an API or database, you should always run it through a model like this. So you have a base model and you have this definition. So we define the rules here. Suppose you can say the strings, the length should be greater than 0 or less than 10. So you can define all those rules here. So next I want to show you how to check emails. Checking emails with code is usually very hard, but with Pydantic it's really simple. Next I want to show you how to check emails. Checking emails with code is usually very hard, but with Pydantic it is very simple. We use a special type called email str, and this is what we are going to use. This is how the type. So it's a type for the emails, and it checks, and this checks that there is an @ symbol and a .com. So we have the script here. So when we call the method contact with the base model, which follows this rule with a proper username, string, and the email in the correct format, it works. Suppose, let's say the AI generated some random values and it is not a proper email, it will fail, not with a weird error but with a meaningful error. So you can immediately see that. You can see the test failed, but there is one validation error for the contact email. So it says the email is not in a valid format. The email must have the @ sign. So this is very useful, and for this to work you need to install the Python email, so which is another command to run, because this is a special email format. So let's see. So this is the command, and this is the one. So uv add Pydantic email. So you need to write, I already have installed this. So once you install this, this email string will be recognized. So this is the new rule, and we can define the email rule using this type email str. So we need to use this library. So you can see how easy it is to do this using Pydantic instead of writing a complex regular expression to catch this incorrect email pattern. So you don't need to use those regex pattern. The library, Pydantic library, does everything for you, so your code looks clean and it is very easy to read. So one more thing that is very helpful is the default values. Here we check the value that is given. What if there is no value given? Sometimes you need default values, and that is very helpful. So sometimes AI might forget to give you a piece of data, so you can tell Pydantic to use a default if something is missing. So I have another script here. So you can see here, this is a simple script. This is an example of a playwright settings, where you can have one place where all your configuration is validated. So if someone tries to set a timeout as a string, usually timeout is an integer, but if someone tries to set this as a string, the code will stop them immediately. So to wrap up today's video, remember that almost 87% of testers say that security and data validation are the most important skills right now. So use these tools to make your work of much higher quality. So I have put all the blueprints and the code from this video in my Universal Automation Kit. You can find the link in the description. It has template for API testing and config validation that you can use right now. So thank you for watching this video, and we will be running into the next video in the series. So please like the video and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. So we are going to look at the AI agents next. So I will see you there.